Hello everyone. I would like to welcome you all to our webinar today. My name is Isabel. In a few minutes, I will be extending a warm welcome to my colleague Edgar Grassel. He has prepared the topic Streamlining Visitor Management with ELO for you today. Here's a little more information for you before we start. You will be muted during the webinar, but are welcome to ask questions about your GoToWebinar in the question box at any time. After the webinar, we will take the time to answer them. And now you can look forward to an interesting presentation. Welcome, Edgar Grassel. I hand over to you now.
Thank you and welcome from me as well. Today we are talking about how to streamline the visitor management in your company with ELO. So let's have a look on the topics which we will cover today. First of all, we will have a look at what is visitor management. Then we'll have a look at who needs visitor management. And then we will answer the question why you should use visitor management in your company. Then we'll have a look at the ELO visitor management solution, the benefits of our visitor management solution, success stories, and then we'll answer the questions. And if you have a question during the webinar, just write it in the questions box of your GoToWebinar. And after the webinar, we will answer them at the end. So let's start with what is visitor management. In fact, visitor management is, well, easy. You have a reception desk in your company, and at the reception desk, in the easiest case, there's a list with names on it, with names of the visitors. When did they arrive at your company? What's the name of the visitor? From which company do they come? And then they sign the document as well. And there you can fill in your data. That's a pen and paper visitor management, which nearly every company has or had in the past. And after you've filled in your data, then you get a visitor badge. In some cases, you may fill in your data on a tablet or something, but the visitor badge is the same. So that's visitor management. You have a registration of your visitor with collecting the data. So you have a name, you have a company name, a date of arrival, a time of arrival, and so on. Then you have the check-in. When has the visitor arrived? And then you notify the person who gets visited that the visitor is here. Then the visitor stays in the company. There's a meeting or something, or does something, and then the visitor checks out. That's visitor management. But who needs visitor management? So the first things which came to me in mind when I thought of who needs visitor management was the healthcare sector with a hospital or a therapy center. Government needs visitor management, ministry or a court, and for example, an IT facility needs visitor management as well. But not only those institutions have to have visitor management. I think they have to have it, but you need it for security reasons, for health and safety reasons, and to meet compliance requirements. So in fact, every company needs visitor management. But why should you use visitor management? So as I said, visitor management is, with visitor management, you have the name of the visitor, the arrival time, the location of the visit, who was visited, and the departure time. So you collect some data from your visitors in your company, because in this case, you know who is where in the company at all times. So for example, in case of an emergency, it could be very important to know who is in your company at this time. or when you have some other things you want to know. So with visitor management, you know who is where in the company at all times, live, and you can, well, you can say how many people are there. So let's have a look at the ELO Visitor Management solution. The ELO Visitor Management solution gives you some functions. For example, before the visitor arrives, you can pre-register visitors and groups. You can create a visitor file, or a visitor file is created, and you can also repeat visitors. So when they come again, then you know the data, and then you don't have to fill out everything. But those are the functions which you can use before the visitor arrives. Pre-register them, create a visitor file, and repeat visitors. Then you can welcome your visitors with a welcome screen. You can greet your guests. You can create a visitor badge with a photo which can be taken with a webcam, and you can sign some agreements like a non-disclosure agreement or some security agreements as well. At the front desk, you can check the visitors in. You can make a direct registration for the visitors which are not pre-registered, which always happens that somebody visits the company without pre-registration. So you can make a direct registration as well, and you can check out the visitors. And you have end-to-end control. You can keep track of the visitors, you can manage the appointments, and you have an up-to-date visitor list, which can be very important in case of an emergency. So that's what you can do. Those are the functions which ELO Visitor Management provides to you. Other things which you have a front desk where you can manage your visitors with a dashboard. So here you have the overview of how many visitors are currently in the company, how many visitors will be tomorrow, and so on. So the pre-registered visitors with date and time, who gets visited, and so on. Then you have the possibility to use a tablet for the check-in, to sign some documents, for example, a non-disclosure agreement, and you have a welcome screen as well, where you can welcome your visitors. So let's have a look on how the ELO Visitor Management solution works. So we are here in our presentation environment, and I've prepared some users for you. One of them is a front desk user, so the view of the front desk employee. Another one is a normal employee who wants to pre-register a visitor. So let's have a look at the front desk. That's the workplace for the front desk, and here we have our functions for visitors and groups. And with this tile here, we can open the dashboard, and then we get an overview of the visitors which are currently in our company, which are registered already, and who has checked out. So we have 7 visitors in total, and 2 of them are checked in, 4 are registered, and 1 of them is checked out. And if we want to see who's checked in, so those visitors who are currently in our company, then we can set the filter up here for only checked in, and then we can see the 2 visitors in our company. When we now select, for example, Julia Allen as a visitor, then we can see the detailed information. She has a meeting with Daniel Cooper, which started at 10 in the morning and should have ended at 11, but maybe they are out for lunch or something. So she's in the company. She hasn't checked out yet. She arrived at 9:50 something, 55, I think, yes. She didn't depart yet because she's in the company. She has arrived by no information, but here you could, for example, set she arrived by car, and then you can enter the license plate to know whose car is this in the parking lot, and so on. She's in the headquarters, The responsible employees Jack Edwards. The location is a meeting room in the 2nd floor. She wants to get picked up, and she was picked up by Jack Edwards. And here you see the contact information. So those are the information which you have with a visitor. You have two possibilities to enter those data. One of them is to pre-register a visitor. So when you know that tomorrow I will get a visit from this or that contact, then you can pre-register the visitor, and at the front desk, they will get the information that tomorrow there will be a new visitor. And on the other hand, you can direct register visitors who we didn't pre-register. So somebody's coming to the company and you want to directly register him or her because they don't have an appointment or something. It's a surprise or something. So first thing I'll show you is how to direct register your visitor. So for this, we have a function here as well. We can register the visitor with this tile here. We could register it with the ribbon as well. But when I click on this tile, then a new window opens and it says register the visitor. Arrival is the actual time. So today at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, the visitor arrived by car. Then we can enter the license plate. I don't know my license plate, but I think this is my license plate. Then we can enter the contact information. We can reuse contact information if the visitor has visited our company already. So then we could select, for example, the company Acme LLC and Julia Allen. But she's in the company, so I have to select someone else. So let's take this one. So Tim Hager is coming to, or has come to our company, and yeah. So those are the data which are stored in our visitor management solution. If we don't have stored the data already, then we could use this one here, create new contact. So we can create a new contact directly from visitor management. And the next time the visitor comes to our company, then we can reuse the data. We can set a category here as well. So it's a visitor. We have 3 different options here: a visitor, craftsperson, or an employee. It's a visitor. And then we could take a picture. So as I said, you can use a webcam for this to take a picture, and the picture can then be reused on the visitor badge. So in my case, I don't have a webcam because it's a presentation environment, so we don't get the picture. And then we can select document for signing. We have, in this environment, we have 2 different documents: a health survey and an NDA from Contilo Corp. I'll select the NDA and we will send it to the signature device. Those things can be pre-configured as well, so you don't have to select it every time, and the data will then be filled out when you register a visitor. So that's the visitor data and the visitor check-in. We have Tim Hager. He arrived by car. That's his license plate. He arrived today at 14:13, and now we have to enter the visitor data because who he is visiting. So let's say we don't have a topic. We just need the branch, the headquarter, the responsible employee who gets visited. Let's say David Lee. Those are the employees in the company, and yes, he wants to be picked up by David Lee. So that's it. That's a direct registration. We have the check-in data of the visitor and the visitor data who gets visited. We don't have to provide a topic, just who gets visited to know where the visitor will be located. And then we click OK. The next thing which happens, we defined a document. The non-disclosure agreement has to be signed. So that's the visitor data from the front desk. But in the meantime, the NDA is sent to, let's say, a tablet or something. In my case, I don't have a tablet. I just have another browser window. And then when we click refresh, we can see that there is a entry written for Hager Tim from American Travelways Airlines. And when we click on it, then we can see that we have a non-disclosure agreement and he has to sign it. So he can sign it. And then we click OK. So that's how we sign documents with the tablet or on another computer or something. And then the document is stored in ELO, is filed in ELO. And then you can see when we go back to our front desk view and to our content tab that we have the document here. And we can preview the document. And here we can see that's a non-disclosure agreement. It has been signed by Tim Hager, and that's his signature. So this you can do with visitor management at the front desk. You can directly check in the visitors and send them documents for signing them. And what you could do as well is you can create a visitor badge. How to create a visitor badge? Just by clicking create visitor badge. Here it is. And then a visitor badge is created, which can be printed out, and then you have a badge here. And if we would have taken a photo, then we would have the photo in here. So that's direct registration of a visitor. But what if you have, you know that tomorrow will come a visitor, and you were not Jessica Davis, who sits on the front desk, but you are someone else, and you want to pre-register the visitor. This can be done as well. So for this, I have to change my user. Check in, we don't need anymore. So I'm now Jack Edwards. Jack Edwards is the executive assistant in our company, and he always pre-registered the visitors who will visit the CEO. This can be done here with the tile as well, pre-register visitor or pre-register a group if you have more than one person who's visiting your company. So I know that tomorrow at 2 p.m. Daniel Cooper will be visited by a customer. So for this, I click on pre-register visitor, and then I have to provide a topic, customer visit. It will start tomorrow at 2 p.m. and it will end tomorrow at 3 p.m. The visitor will come to the headquarter. They will meet at, not at the webinar room, at this meeting room. The responsible employee is not Jack Edwards, but I'm Jack Edwards. I have filled it out. It's Daniel Cooper. Pickup is requested as well by me. So those are the appointment data. Then we have the contact data. And as I said, it's a customer from our company. He was here already, or he has been here already. So let's say he comes from Contido AG. No, that's something. So here we have Contido AG, and his name is Gerd Baum. And the category is a visitor. And then we could select a template to send an email invitation. So with visitor management, you can send email invitations as well. And there you have several templates to select. No, in my case, we only have one, but you could configure more than one template, and then you can send an email invitation. And then you can create a new contact. But in this case, we have used an existing contact. So that's what we have to do for pre-registering a visitor. Provide appointment data, which location, and the personal information of the visitor. Then we click OK, and then the new visitor will be added to our visitor list. And when we go back to our front desk, when we go back to our front desk, to our dashboard, then we can see that we have a new visitor. Now we have 2 new visitors, 3 new visitors. Somebody's working with my visitor management. So this is how you can pre-register your visitors. And let's say we have a visitor who wants to check out. So Julia Allen, her meeting should have ended at 11, but she was for lunch with Daniel Cooper. But now she wants to check out. Checkout can be done with the dashboard as well. So you select the visitor and then you can check the visitor out. Then you have to provide a date and a time. Well, this fits for me. And then click OK, and then the visitor is checked out. So with visitor management, with this list, with this dashboard, we now know that we have 3 visitors in our company, which is actual data. So we have David Böhm, Tim Hager, and Jan Hauser. They are all 3 in our company. The employee responsible in 2 cases is David Lee, and in 1 case it's Charlotte Bennett. Other things which you can do with visitor management, you can, for example, create a visitor list. A visitor list is a document with which you can say, for example, the current visitors from today with the status checked in. So there should be 3 visitors in your company, and then you can say, okay, those 3 visitors are in a company and those data can be reused for some reasons. Other things what you can do as well, you can register groups. It's the same as registering a visitor, but you have more names to fill out. You can create a long-term badge. Then the users can check themselves in and out as well with the reception, with this one where we sign the document. You can cancel a registration. You can cancel a long-term badge or deactivate a long-term badge, and so on. And at the end of the day, you can export the data and reuse them for some other reasons. And one thing which I didn't show you is the welcome screen, not the check-in. This is the welcome screen. And there we have the names written on screen. So this is the screen which normally is mounted to the wall and behind me, and then the visitors are welcome. So that's how visitor management with ELO works. Now let's have a look at the benefits of visitor management with ELO. So the most important thing is you know who's on site at the moment, at this time, for security reasons or some other things. You have an up-to-date visitor list. You can sign agreements like the non-disclosure agreements or some security information and so on with the built-in function, with a tablet, with the reception desk. You can send auto notifications. For example, when a visitor checks in to your company, then the person who should pick up the visitor is notified automatically. or you can send invitations to the visitors as well, with the description on where to park, what's important, some documents. For example, the NDA could be sent automatically to the visitor before he or she arrives in the company, and so on. You can increase the visitor experience because it's very easy, very fast to use, and you have a welcome screen. You don't have to enter the data every time the visitor comes to your company. You can reuse them, and so on. And you can combine it with other business solutions as well. For example, ELO recruiting, when a new candidate comes to a job interview, then you can automatically create a new entry with ELO visitor so that the front desk knows when the visitor is arriving. So those are the highlights of the functions or of the benefits of ELO visitor, which you can use for your company. So we have some success stories as well, and we have some more information. So one of our success story is Wirt Electronic in Germany. It's a company with more than 500 employees from electronics and high tech, and they use it for visitor management. For what else should they use it? But they have visitor management because they have some security things to consider when a visitor comes to your company, because electronics and high tech is, well, maybe confidential. Then we have Talleyrand Batteries, which is in Germany as well. They have around 100 employees, so not that big as Wirt Electronic, but they have visitor management as well, and they have combined it with some other business solutions. And then we have Jentner Group. It's a group in Germany, around 100 employees from manufacturing in Germany, and they use visitor management with ELO as well. And if you want to have some more information, this can be found here on our website, elo.com. Under software and visitor management, you can find more information and a video and a brochure. And if you need more information on this topic, then you can contact an ELO business partner, which you can find in the partner finder. So that's it with ELO visitor management. And now it's time for your questions. And we have 2 questions so far. One question is, can we export the visitor data? Yes, you can. So the visitor data can be exported. They can be reused for other things, but you have to think of the visitor has to allow you to reuse the data, but you can. Not every user can do it. You need the proper permissions for this. And the second question is, can we use our existing document templates for non-disclosure agreements and so on? Yes, you can. Those document templates can be reused and can be imported into ELO or can be filed in ELO, and then you can reuse them, as I showed you, with a tablet where you can sign them, because this functionality comes from ELO, so you only have to provide the existing document as a PDF, and then you can reuse it in ELO Visitor. So when there are no more questions, then I say thank you for your attention, and well, see you next time, hear you next time.
What an interesting topic. Thank you for this presentation, Edgar Grassel. I would like now to tell you about our upcoming webinars. You can register via the following link on the website elo.com/webseminar. Please keep in mind you can register up to 1 hour before the web seminar starts. Thanks again to everyone who attended. I wish you all the best. Until the next time. Goodbye.